So, water. It's not really the most exciting thing, is it? I mean, like, if I invited you over to my house and was like, hey, you should come over, I'm having some water, you'd be like, okay, yeah, what? It's not very exciting, is it? Now, if I was like, hey, I'm having some chocolate ice cream on some fresh made brownies, you'd be like, okay. Or maybe I'm having some steak, you'd be like, I'm coming. But so there's some things that are real exciting, but water, it's not really that exciting, is it? But water is really important. I mean, if you go long enough without water, it's going to start to affect you. If you go for a couple of days and you don't have water, your body's going to start feeling really sick. You're going to get tired and weak, and it's not good for you. If you go long enough, it'll even kill you if you don't have water. Water is so important, but it's not necessarily always an exciting thing, just something that you're like, ooh, yeah, water. You know, prayer is kind of like that. It's not that every time we go and pray is going to be this exciting, amazing time. Sometimes it's just that thing that keeps us going. And the truth is, without prayer, your spiritual life is going to get sick. Your relationship with God is going to get weak. In fact, it can even die. Without prayer sustaining us and keeping us going, our spiritual life is not going to progress and go further. And we need it. It's so important. And you know what? There are those times like when you are so thirsty, like you've been outside working, you've been running, and you haven't been able to get some water. Somebody gives you some water, like, oh my gosh, that tastes so good, especially when it's like ice cold, and it's so refreshing. And prayer is that way too, man. Sometimes when you're going through a really rough time, you're going through a really difficult time, you get a fresh time of prayer. You get in there and you just really talk to God, and He speaks to you. Man, it can be so refreshing and so good. But it's not always that way. Sometimes prayer is just maintaining and growing and just continuing in that time with God and just spending time with Him. So I just want to encourage you to pray. You know, don't necessarily expect every time to be this big spiritual move of God, but it's a time to just keep yourself strong, to keep yourself growing and refreshing yourself in God.